Hi, and welcome to Trades Talks, the community podcast for elevating home service companies. I'm Ryan, trader, and today we're going to be chatting with Darren Wallace from Best Option Restoration of North Houston. He's a co-owner of the business, and they've been operating for the last year. So we're here to share insights, celebrate his successes, and tackle industry challenges. So if you're ready, let's go ahead and jump right in. Hey, Darren. Thanks for jumping on with us today and making the time to talk.
Thank you, Ryan. Great to be here.
So glad to have you. So we're just going to jump right in. We'd love to learn a little bit about how you got started in the industry and tell us a little bit about what you guys do at Best Option Restoration.
All right. Started in the industry, probably different than everyone else. I'm actually an engineer. I've been an engineer for 30 odd years. So moving into restoration was a bit of a change the last year. However, I'm obviously not from North America. I'm from Scotland, and it's a little bit different across there in terms of the restoration industry doesn't really exist. If you've got a problem in a home or a residential building, you fix it yourself or other people help you. But there's not a real restoration industry. So I grew up flipping houses kind of thing, fixing your own homes. So basically woodwork, electrical, plumbing, you kind of do it yourself. So you learn over the years how these things work. So it was kind of a natural thing for me when I came out here, and I found it very weird that everyone hired people to do everything for you, when in the UK you kind of just get on with it and do it. There's certain things for licensing and such like that you need, but in general, you just figure it out. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's very different than how a lot of people in America operate. Absolutely. I think if I'm thinking about cars or homes or any of that stuff, yeah. Absolutely. Everybody, there's a lot of different industries of people just helping to repair things. So I know you said you've been operating for the last year. You guys have started the business, really been growing, working through, all those first year challenges. Can you tell us about maybe a challenge that you faced this last year and some strategies or things you've done to help work through that?
Absolutely. And the biggest thing, my business partner and myself, we'd worked together for 10 years in engineering companies. We decided we want to be our own bosses. So we bought a franchise, which is the Best Option Restoration. And we were the first one in the Houston area, which made us a little bit standalone. We didn't have anyone to talk to, kind of thing. We had a little bit of support from the Colorado people up the head office, but otherwise we were on our own 2 feet. So that was one of the bigger challenges to start with. The biggest thing I think we've found is not so much the actual restoration side, it's just running your own business from start to finish. If you've been an employee for 30 years and take the leap into starting your own business, taxes, insurance, all the other stuff that you're like, okay, that's fine. I want to just go and fix houses. How do I help people? And it's all the background stuff that takes you a long time. It's building your support network to get that. It's the biggest thing. We've found a good network of people now, but that took 6 to 9 months to actually build that to allow us to help do the background work so that we could focus on what's important, which is helping people fix their houses.
Absolutely. That's so important, is figuring out, where can we plug new people in to take on those responsibilities so that frees you up. And I know you were talking about right now you're in the field doing the work. So the idea of working in your business versus on your business, and you're doing both of it right now. So that
absolutely,
wearing all the hats. That's awesome.
I heard someone talk about something about 17 hats the other day, which I believe is an accounting program, but it kind of suits exactly what I'm doing at the moment. So,
right, you're like, wait, that doesn't sound right, but I think that it describes it accurately. So, obviously, you guys are carving out your space in that market.
Yes.
So, what are some strategies that have been really good to make sure you guys are getting those phone calls, getting in front of new customers this last year?
At the franchise, we offer remediation in water, mold, fire, and storm. Mm-hmm. We've actually decided to rearrange that slightly. Our primary focus is mold. Water damage is fine, but the market down here is very saturated with other companies out there. And to get your mold license takes a little bit of time and a little bit of effort to be licensed for doing that in Texas. So we did that from the word go, and we focus on mold. And probably 75% of our work now is mold remediation.
Gotcha. So really, you identified that there was an an opportunity in the market there to fill
Yes.
that
Yeah.
void in the
Yeah.
mold.
Of
So
probably 50 competing companies, there's maybe only 10, 15 that actually have the valid license to do this properly down here. So we've tapped into that. Yep. And that's where our marketing and that's where our networking is all about, is going through mold and storm. Whenever
mhm.
it's the Gulf Coast, you're going to get a hurricane at some point in time. So may as well tag that at the end. But yeah. So we do water remediation as well, but that's not our primary marketing focus. Our primary is being number one at mold.
Gotcha. Interesting. Can you tell us a little bit about how did you identify that? Because I think there's a lot of companies out there that are in a similar situation. We do a lot, but what is that thing that's going to be our, that linchpin that's going to grow our company? What are those ideal jobs? You
Yeah,
guys,
it was basically the research we did beforehand. It was looking to see how many companies there were. We kind of
Mhm.
undervalued that a little bit. There's a lot more out there than we expected when we actually went live. However, when you just go on things like not marketplace, Facebook, when someone
Mhm.
goes on Facebook, I've got water damage. There's 50 people go, speak to these people, speak to these people, speak to these people. To
Yeah.
break into that market is very, very difficult. Whereas if someone goes, I've got mold, there wasn't so many people responding to that. So it didn't take us long to figure out and go, let's look at this. We can make money at this and still help everyone. So,
Yeah, no, absolutely. It sounds like part of what's made you so successful this last year is really that initial research.
yeah,
Where should we
focus your
focus our
efforts. Yeah,
efforts, and
yeah,
also being focused.
yeah,
One thing we've talked about with Eric and Taylor the last couple days is really finding your mission, figuring out what your purpose is, and you guys did that right on the front end. Like, what is our mission? what
yeah,
what is our
yeah.
focus? What do we want to stand
That's
for?
exactly it. Pick something to specialize in and go for it. If you're too broad, you'll never get the hits you need. If you focus on something specific and aim everything at that, you'll become a market leader, and that's what it's all about.
Absolutely. You got to be the authority. You got to be that person, like you're saying,
Yeah,
when somebody says, who should I talk to for mold? There's 20 people that are writing, yeah, talk to Darren over at Best
yeah,
Option for
yeah,
sure. That's awesome.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I think that could we talk a little bit about kind of where you guys now are looking to grow into the next 5 years? I imagine part of that plan. We talked a little bit about this a minute ago, but is to kind of expand on those services and take that initial base. And what are some of your strategies to take those relationships you're building in mold and take those partnerships? I imagine you're doing some commercial work as well, and
yeah.
expand on those so that you guys can. If you start to offer more services, have a great customer base to work
Yeah.
from.
So it's we do what we offer is, and it's this. I'll say what we offer is one of the other things that differentiates us slightly is we do start to finish from first call, from when the homeowner calls the insurance agent, the agent calls us, we go out, we assess the damage, we give an estimate from everything from the very first walking through the door till the rebuild at the very end. However, we don't actually do the rebuild ourselves. I've
Mhm.
developed a network of people that do all this for me. So ultimately, we project manage the whole thing. That's what my background is: project management and engineering. That's great. I love it. So
Yeah,
we do that all the way through, and one of the selling points for us is the speed that we can do things, quality and speed. Ultimately, the day I finish mold remediation is the day the sheetrock guys come in and they start
that's
putting it back. So ultimately, we get clearance. That's it. They're in the next day. So whereas if you're working through one company that's got people that come in 2 weeks later or flooring or whatever, we're done and dusted and in and out in 2 or 3 weeks. That's where we're trying to make our name. Now, the
gotcha.
problem with that is keeping the quality right up there while you're doing
Mhm.
that, and that's where you have to juggle. But it works for
Absolutely.
us. It's working for us. So.
What are some of the things that you've put in place in the last year to just kind of help maintain that quality? I know that's a common thing we hear, broadly.
The biggest thing at the moment is because I'm in the field most of the time, it
Mhm.
relies on me. So,
Understood.
but we put processes in place that there's basically a walkthrough at the end of it with the homeowner. We'll sign off and make sure everything is as it should be. So
That makes
it's simple things. I mean, ultimately, Google reviews, we have a load of them. We're always getting 5 stars, but it's based on cleanliness. At the end of every day, you clean up. Everything's clean. It might take half an hour longer than it would at any other job site, but that's what it has to be. Straight lines, cleanliness, wipe everything down. It makes the homeowner, it makes the process easier. Yeah.
absolutely well. And if you're pairing that with speed,
Yeah,
and execution on that. Obviously we've all heard those horror stories of, oh, my house has been a mess for 2 months, right?
yeah, yeah,
So I think you've also identified what are those things that people care about. How can we differentiate ourselves? Really identifying again that mission, kind of what you guys are going to stand for. As you, I think there's companies that have been in business for 5 or 10 years that can't answer some of those questions like you
yeah.
can. So that's extremely important.
And that's one of my biggest concerns. It's when I step away from doing all the field work. It's how we keep that quality, but keep the efficiency as well. That will be a problem. I won't deny it, but we'll figure it out when we get there.
Absolutely.
I think
And
that's finding the right employees and the right training, but we'll deal with that.
yeah, you're putting those processes in place though, and like you said, something you've done for a long time. So
Yeah,
uh, just replicating, what you're an expert at already.
yeah.
Um, one question I love to ask is, and we're going back probably a year, maybe a little more, as you started the conversations and the plan to start Best Option, your franchise in North Houston. What if you could go back and give yourself one piece of advice when you were starting the process? What would that be?
Okay, the one thing we didn't realize about this industry before we started was how much networking and marketing and sales you have to do. I'm a doer. So if I was to do this again, I would take another couple of months, take a deep breath, and go and get some marketing training and sales training. So you're comfortable doing that so you can hit the ground running rather than learning that while you start it and you're trying to get in work at the door at the same time. Do that first. If that's your weak point and you're not comfortable with that, learn that first. I'm still learning. We just signed up for a sales course yesterday. It's just, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I definitely know how that is. There's when you think you figured it out, the goalposts shift a little bit
Yeah,
too,
yeah,
and now I got to reinvent the wheel a little bit, figure out what's going to work. That feels like it's definitely the sales world in general.
yeah.
What's one thing that's been most valuable for you for kind of that marketing and sales education, or just kind of getting better at that?
Just getting out there and doing it. We've had a lot of luck with insurance agents. We target a specific type, independence. That seems to work for us, which sounds strange because we're doing mold and there's not a lot of insurance agents cover mold, but that seems to
Oh,
work. The other thing is when you get to a certain level of Google reviews, the phone seems to start to ring on its own accord, which is fantastic. So that's one of our main focuses is that every 2 jobs we do, we want at least one Google 5-star Google review from it. And
that's
keep
a great
keep
plan.
testing them. This seems to be the thing when people are looking online, other than having relevant content and keeping posting stuff on LinkedIn and Facebook and such like. If you keep trickling in Google reviews, that seems to help you and get you close at the top of the pile.
Absolutely, we hear that every day in and day out.
Yeah,
What is the number one thing you're doing to get those Google reviews? What's been
we
effective?
basically the phone system we use allows us to send messages, text, this sort of stuff. We just send a Google link and just say, "Would you mind giving us a review?" at the end of everything when we sign off. And yep, just
Hmm.
90% of the time it works. It's great. Yeah.
That's awesome. So you just do one text message after the
Yep.
fact with the
Yep.
Google link.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
I think so many people think it's got to be this big, extensive show. That just being. I have so many people that I just ask. I'm just
Well,
there.
we'll
I
actually, most
ask.
of the time, we'll actually do it while we're standing with the client in their home and go, "Are you happy with everything? Okay, can we ask for one favor? Would you mind giving us a 5-star review?" And send the link there and then, and that's it.
Oh, you can send. That's perfect. Yep. That is awesome. Even the other thing people do is if you guys have like a kind of a binder or some sort of clipboard or something, or even a phone case or a sticker you can put on your phone case as a
Yeah,
QR code. They can scan that right there. Yeah, for those people who don't have texting, right? That's an easy way. Hey, just pull out your phone. They got to pull out their phone anyway to leave a
exactly,
review.
exactly
So
that. Yeah, yeah,
most cameras, if they just point their camera at it, it'll give them a
yeah.
link. So
No, as you
yeah,
say, we've just got a little thing. It's a link on a phone. We send it in text message to them, and that's it. That's all we do. Yeah.
that's perfect. Yeah, I want to impart that on people who are watching this. It can be really easy to get those reviews, and they're so valuable,
Mhm.
so valuable now. Awesome, Darren. Well, I know we're kind of running up to our time here. Are there any notes, anything we haven't covered that you feel like we should tell some of those other home service business owners out there, maybe people themselves that are just getting started
I
in
think
their.
this is from my personal experience coming in from another industry,
Mhm.
is the restoration industry it's very technology limited in terms of how you do things. I mean, basically, it's not changed for what 30 years. You stick a DHU in there, and you stick a fan in there, and you dry out. There's other technology out there that people should be looking at to differentiate yourself. My company, our company, in the next 12 months, that's what we're going to be spending a lot of time and effort on, is how to make ourselves better than everyone else by using technology that will also save us and the insurance companies money. It's just how we get people to buy into it. So.
That's awesome. Do you find that's a really important factor for the potential customers you're talking to as you're
Yeah,
starting?
some of the technology we use at the moment allows us to dry homes out faster, which not only helps the homeowner, they're happy with that. Cool, you're only going to be here 3 days rather than 5 or 6, and
Yep.
you're charging the insurance company less as well. So they're like, okay, cool, I'm good with that.
Mm-hmm.
Shortening the timeline as well. So
everybody loves it. So you can get more of those referrals.
But it's not industry wide yet, but I think it needs to become that way. It needs to become more technologically advanced. So.
All right.
The
Well,
software, it's just the hardware's not. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and you're right. I mean, it is. We see the same fans, a lot of the same kind of equipment, regardless of the company. So, everybody hear that here first. There's new stuff out there. Take a look, go to some of those trade shows, see what's out there,
Exactly.
and help your clients better, right? That help your customers better, make their homes better faster. So, awesome, Darren. Well, thank you so much for your time today. I hope this has been really helpful for everyone, especially to look at what are some of those things that are setting us up. I think a lot of what you had to say about what is our focus, what is our mission, what do we stand for, whether you're a brand new company or you've been in business for several years, there's a lot of companies who really needed that advice. So thank you, Darren. Is there anything you'd like to plug or mention before we jump off? Obviously, Best Option Restoration in North Houston. We love to grow the community. So if anybody has any questions or comments for Darren or myself, please drop them in the comments. Should we encourage people in the area to reach out if they'd like to partner with you and stuff like that?
Absolutely. I'm happy to answer anyone's questions on anything, specifically mold, but yeah, it's anything at all. If you need any questions on how to start a business, what not to do, what to do, I'm good with that as well. Yeah.
Awesome, Darren. Well, thank you again, and we'll see everybody on the next Trades Talks. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.
See ya.